Republicans in Montana, meantime, will pick a candidate to go up against one of the Democratic senators considered ripe for defeat this fall. Correspondent Dan Springer sets the stage from Helena tonight.
Republican voters in the Big Sky state have a big job today as they go to the polls to choose between four similar candidates, the one they think can beat the popular yet vulnerable Jon Tester in November. The Montana incumbent is one of the 10 Senate Democrats up for re-election in a state won by President Trump. GOP voters were cagey about who they supported, but clear on the ultimate goal.
It's based both on the notion that Tester has to be removed and that the president's policies are going to have to be fully implemented.
The frontrunner and most well-known is State Auditor Matt Rosendale. The conservative PAC, Club for Growth, has spent over $1 million backing him. But his opponents have attacked his Maryland roots and East Coast accent, even though he moved to a working Montana ranch 16 years ago. In a state where many vote the person, not the party, some say that issue alone would advantage Tester in November.
He comes back here as often as he can. He still gets his hair cut in Montana. He is a very likable person, and he stands up for this, for the little guy.
Fourth-generation Montanan and retired Judge Russ Fagg bills himself as a center-right Republican and the only candidate in the race who can beat Tester. He's shown support within the state GOP. At the polls, Republicans said it's time for Tester to go.
I think he's meant well. I think he's just been there too long, and I'm paid for it now.
President Trump won Montana by 20 points 2 years ago, but the state's independent streak makes it a tough place to predict.
Montana does have more conservative-leaning voters than liberal-leaning voters, but Tester's proved to be a very savvy and effective campaigner. He's won twice, although relatively narrow at both times, so it could be a very competitive race.
Some Republican voters told us they hope whoever wins today gets plenty of support from President Trump, perhaps even a campaign visit out here to Montana. And that does seem likely considering the feud between the president and Senator Tester made more intense when Tester sank the president's nominee to head the Department of Veterans Affairs, who also happened to be the president's personal doctor. Brett? Dan Springer live in Montana tonight. Dan, thanks.